Welcome on out. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for finding me wherever you're tuning in, whether it's twitch.tv/StutterandCraig or youtube.com/@SideScrollers Podcast. Welcome. Good to see you guys. We got a great show tonight, and I really don't want to waste any time. I'm going to bring them right in. It's Keemstar. Hello, Keem. How are you?
What's up, Craig? Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you coming on, spending some time, bud.
Sorry about yesterday. We had plans.
Look, just little background for folks. Yesterday, I tweeted out. I was talking about how I was going to have you on, and I said, "Hey, halfway, Keem DME said he's halfway drunk." So, and you followed up, and like I totally understand, man. Totally understand. How'd it go yesterday? Did you have fun?
Oh, we had a great time. We were ATVing. We went to the bar. I haven't had a real celebration since the WingsNBoogie fight. So this was our first, okay, let's go get lit.
Well, let's talk about that, man. So first off, I appreciate you being on time. It's rare that a lot of people, when you ask somebody to come on, they actually get here before, which I really appreciate that. So thanks for that. So let's talk about this, man. So you had the big WingsNBoogie fight that just happened. It was over in London. Talk about that whole process, man, because that was, taking place over in London. I know you were essentially hired to do the pre-show and the prelims. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been involved in influencer boxing since the very beginning, on Drama Alert. I would instigate the fights, kind of set up the fights behind the scenes. KSI founded this company called Misfits, which is taking the whole influencer boxing thing to another level. It's really serious and it's getting really competitive over there. And they're missing the internet part of it, right? They're missing the influencer part of it because it's getting so competitive. We're seeing the same guys over and over again, and their skill is getting better and better. And it's like we're missing the internet. So I've been on them for a while about letting me do pre-shows and involving this certain person. I was able to get Sam Hyde on Misfits, right, and do certain things like that. We had Ice Poseidon over there. And each one of them has been so positive. They trusted me with the prelims, and I wanted to break the internet. And the first thing I could think of was Wings versus Boogie. So I reach out to both of them, and they're down. And after I put out this tweet that we're in talks of making this thing happen, then reality sets in. Holy shit! This could never happen. They're not going to pass their medicals. Wings is not going to get on a plane. Boogie's never been in a fight in his life. This is just not going to work, right? But you have to fake it until you make it. You got to keep believing that this thing is actually going to happen, even though in the back of my head, I'm like, this is not happening. And it happened. It fucking happened. It was hell, Craig. All right. You're calling them every day. You're like, are you doing cardio? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? You're on their ass. Wings has to get in a fucking taxi and go somewhere in London. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I have to get on a train. What? It's so many little problem solving that I would have to do every single day to make this thing happen. During the commentary, I was like, I did it. Holy shit. I had this moment in my head. I can't believe this is happening.
Do you feel like it was worth it?
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I think
go ahead.
I don't know of a better fight to set up that would have that response. And here's why. Not only did the old school YouTubers like us get involved in it, right? You also had the young kids that are seeing these guys for the first time. They became fans. The mainstream media ate this up. There's so many fucking articles. Just search Wings and Boogie and then hit the little news tab on Google. They loved it. And then on top of that, I had no idea. It was never my plan. But after it was said and done, the next day, people were asking me about the Guinness World Record. I'm like, what are you talking about? There has never been a sanctioned fight by a boxing association with people that big ever. It's a Guinness World Record. So that's the next thing we're working on.
Where you want to get a bigger fight, or you want to validate the world record?
The world record. We got to get the world record. Yeah.
So you had Wings versus Boogie. We dropped yesterday. Actually we had Rich from Review Tech on, who is live streaming this. He's co-streaming this right now on his channel. So hey, Rich. We had Rich on, and during the show, you guys tweeted out that the Rich versus Jeremy from the quartering fight is going to happen.
Both are in verbal agreements right now, and you know, Jeremy's taking it serious. Rich is taking it serious. And yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to happen, but that's another scenario. Like, I don't know Jeremy as a fighter at all, right? He had that one guy hit him, he sued him, right? That whole debacle. And Rich, I don't know if he's a fighter. Like, it's one of these things that also seems impossible. But if they're both, you know, publicly saying like we're doing this, now it's not just like, you know, you're fighting with yourself whether you're not going to do it, but it's also your fans that are now counting on you.
Do you? I get that. I get all that, and I'm sure. I feel like now I was watching Rich's stream earlier, and he was high as a kite. So we'll see how seriously he takes it. But I believe in you, Rich. I will say this: Wings looked like a powerhouse, and obviously he was cutting through butter. Do you have any plans to bring Wings back for another fight?
100%. Like, we need to see him. He needs to be like a thing. Like, I told him, I'm like, you're like a boxing superstar right now. And I know that seems like a joke saying that, but he is. He has a fucking world record for being, you know, in this thing. Let me give you some backstory of Wings. I'm sure almost everyone listening to this probably knows this story, but for those of you that don't, I've known Wings forever. He was like the second person online that I ever got in a fight with. So I started in 2009, and like later that summer, I'm fighting with this guy, WingsOfRedemption, and he doxed me, and it was the whole thing on Machinima. And so I've known this guy forever. But he founded this podcast called PKA with FPS Kyle. And, you know,
I saw your tweet about that. They want him back, or the fans want him back now.
Woody joined, and like they were planning a camping trip or something. Wings didn't show up, and they got so upset and they kicked him off. And that's haunted Wings for years. And the PKA fans, they're constantly picking on him, and the current hosts are constantly over the last decade just shitting on him nonstop. After this fight, you go to the PKA subreddit, and it's like a Wings fan page, and they're actually talking shit about the other host, and they're demanding them back. So, you know, this has been such a positive thing in Wings' life. And I really, really think that the boxing community, the response that I got from them, they were like, we need to see this again. Bring Wings back. So he absolutely has to. But who does he fight? I want him to fight Tipster. Tipster's been putting out some tweets. He's been pissing me off. Tipster's on this new like woke thing, and I just want to see him get hit.
Okay, so we're definitely going to see Wings fight again, which is great. We got Rich and Jeremy coming up. I think the one question there's two. As I asked folks what to ask you tonight, people wanted to know, number one, would you ever get in the ring?
I would only fight one person, Ethan Klein.
Oh, Ethan, huh?
That is the only person I would get in the ring with. Look, dude, it's a lot of effort and hard work to get in the ring and to do a boxing match. Like, I see what my guys have to do to make sure they can, you know, win. And sometimes they don't. Even though you can prepare as much as possible, you could still have an embarrassing loss. I mean, it's a lot to it. That's why I said to Boogie and Wings at the very beginning of this, I was like, look, it's hard to get respect on the internet. It is. It's like near impossible, especially nowadays. But if you step in that ring, people will respect you. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that point. But
so let me ask you this. Ethan would never do it, right? Like
No.
It's a pipe dream. You're just saying that because, you know, it's like there's no way in hell Ethan Klein would ever fight you.
Before Creator Clash 1, IDUBBBZ was putting a lot of pressure on Ethan to do it. So he unblocks me on Twitter, and he jumps in my DMs, and he's like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yes, I want to do it. I was so excited. I'm going to get a chance to punch Ethan Klein in his fat fucking head, right? So I'm like doing sit-ups. I like made a little Twitter video, and I posted it. And he changed his mind like in 15 minutes and blocked me again.
Because he realized he was going to get punched in the fucking face.
Yeah. And
right.
he said on his podcast multiple times, oh, I wouldn't want to platform Keemstar. I wouldn't want to platform. It makes no sense because the motherfucker's talking about me all the time about every little thing. It's like, he's just a joke. He doesn't want to box, and that's fine. You know, there's plenty of people that have called me out to box. I don't want to box them. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess.
All right. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, I think it'd be fun to see, but I mean, let's just be real. I mean, I think half the internet wants, probably most of the internet wants to punch Ethan Klein anyways, right? So
Yeah.
you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And the other guy people want to know, and this is going to lead into a giant spiral, a tornado of fun. What do you think it would take to get Dark Side Phil in a ring? And,
I don't know.
And would you do it? What would it take? I don't know. Like, what's the line that you would cross to get DSP in a boxing ring?
The thing is I actually understand the value of Boogie2988, and I understand the value of Wings of Redemption, and I understand the value of Dark Side Phil. I do. They have value. They absolutely have value, but it's not being used the right way. Like this boxing match was a perfect example of, look, they're lol cows. We'll throw them in a ring, and now like everyone's entertained. They love it, and they love them for doing it, right? But he doesn't trust me. So I don't know. If I'm offering you $50,000 and you can't get on the phone call, right? You can't just communicate with me. I don't know what it would take. It would be near impossible. You know, that's part of the reason why I'm trying to figure this guy out and go through and do this documentary on him, is because I want to know who this guy is, because I really don't know. He's a liar. He lies about so much stuff. He was on your show and he was clearly lying. Right. It's like there's this documentary on YouTube where, you know, they have all the bank records that somebody broke into his bank or whatever. And it's just like, bam, bam, all this proof that he was buying the wrestling skins or whatever on the mobile game. And he's up here. Oh, that's not my account. I don't do that. Like there's a recording of him saying to his stream that he was addicted to this game. Like there's so much evidence. And we're talking about like a gambling addiction. So why couldn't he just say in that moment, yes, that was me. I had a problem. I fixed it. Like, I don't know.
We've said this a lot. We said this, like somebody pointed this out in the chat. They said, you guys gave him a golden ticket and he ripped it up. You gave him and he spat on it. So, well, you alluded to this, but I want to go over to, I was on a podcast called That Being Said earlier today, and they really wanted me to get more information about this tweet that you sent out, which you alluded to, but you said you've set up interviews with DSP and family. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And unlike him, they like money. So tell me more. What is this about? And you mentioned the documentary. We were kind of talking about it behind the scenes, but I don't know, you're obviously going through it with it. So tell me more. So
when I think of like one of the greatest like docu-series or whatever, it's got to be like Tiger King, right? It's like, it's such an interesting story. And I think that's why people are so obsessed with DSP, is because he's so interesting. Like he does the exact opposite in every scenario that he should do. And you're just like, you're stumped like at some of his moves and how he acts. And you're like, is this a real person? And I'm so curious to find out, who is the actual person? Because I see him on his stream and he's like, we're going to have a fun time today and we're going to play some games. This is going to be some amazing entertainment and da-da-da. Like he's talking to millions and millions of people. But the truth is he's barely making it. And when opportunities come to help him in his career, he shuts them all down. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him talking to another YouTuber other than your show. He doesn't even communicate with the outside world. It's like the weirdest thing, and I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to talk to people that know him in real life. So, you know,
that's the thing. I think we broke him, our interview broke him. And it wasn't necessarily our interview. It's that we talked about it the next day. And I don't know if you know the whole backstory behind this, but, I sent him an email just saying like, we do not trust what you said. There's so much that doesn't make sense in what you said. But we'd obviously love to continue the conversation. And here's the thing, like I personally want what's best for him. I want him to get to level 2, as you say, right? I think that would be a great human interest story if he found a way to take that next step in his career, after being at the same level for 18 years. But I truly don't think he wants it. And I think that he has been pointed out many times, he has his own bubble. And I think that our interview and just kind of laying things out directly in front of him as clear as possible, pushed him further into his bubble, and him leaving that bubble scares him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this. He's like got a king complex or something. Like when he's on his stream, he is the one in charge. All right. You say something he doesn't like, you're gone. Right. You know, certain people get shout outs and da 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 da. And he's, you know, we're going to wear the vest if you donate that money. And he's in full control. As soon as he's outside of that element, he's like, no, 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 I need to get back. You know, that's the bubble you're referring to. And I don't know what it would take. I don't know what the motivation would be. He's got an excuse every step of the way to just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. But I'm going to find out. There's got to be some motivation somewhere in his life that would get him to do something else. And if he improves his life, if he goes to level 2, I'd be happy too. I think everyone that's obsessed with the dark side Phil and clipping him and all that, they would like to see Phil outside in the real world, in a real interview, like where the interviewer is like right next to him. They would like to see like him going to Walmart or something. Like my vision of a documentary with Dark Side Phil is to like actually like capture who this guy actually is, because he is playing a character to the max. He's lying through his teeth on his streams. He's saying like, you know, I don't have money to pay this and I don't have money to pay that, but really, you know, obviously he's spending money on gambling and pets and alcohol and also their crazy stuff. I want to get to the real person and understand what is going on here. Is there a mental disorder? Is he actually a scammer? Is he sitting on like, you know, thousands of dollars and people just don't know? I see someone in the chat say touch grass. I would love to see him touch grass. Right. Imagine if you had a piece of content of Phil walking into the park talking about his life and his career. That would be amazing.
You just maybe going to the gym, doing some curls or something. That'd be good. Man, that's awesome. With Phil, one of the big things you mentioned, you know, the 50K, we touched on this in the podcast, with the Lolcow podcast with WingsNBoogie. I had Boogie on. I didn't actually get a chance to really talk to him about the 50K, but I'm sure he was pissed at the idea that, you know, DSP kind of shot the whole thing down. Do you, I don't know, let's take a step back. Let's go back to this interview thing. Have you actually set up anything with his friends or family at this point? Yes. Care to elaborate?
I don't want to say more than that. Yes. But okay. Well, actually, I haven't mentioned this yet, but there is a little bit of a moral dilemma going on here. So Augie RFC, are you familiar with him? He's a streamer. Mm-mm. Augie RFC calls me on his stream the other day and he's like, isn't this a little fucked up that you're going to interview his family and friends? Like, isn't that like kind of like doxing or intrusive? And I'm like, well, I'm a journalist. If I'm doing a documentary, you got to talk to people that know him. You got to get the story, da, da, da. And then like, so I'm dealing with this because it's like, I've always wanted to like protect content creators and their privacy, and the idea of like interviewing family members and friends seems so fucking icky to me. And so I've been like trying to figure out, is there another way to do it? Is there another way to capture it without being so intrusive? And at the end of the day, I always come back to, well, I need Phil to play ball. Like I need Phil to sign off and like actually be a part of this film. That is the only way it really works. So yeah, we have contacted some people. We have set up some stuff. We don't have shoot times or anything like that, but you know, we have agreements to put together. I actually have to fly there to sit down with these people because I don't want to do any internet stuff. If I'm making a film, like I want to be there, just like the WingsNBoogie thing that I did.
Right. It's a good decision. Can I chime in on that? Because I don't think that there's, so from a journalistic standpoint, right, what you do is you exhaust your resources. You exhaust your resources to tell the best story you could possibly tell in the most objective way you can possibly do it, right? You've reached out to Phil. Phil doesn't want to be a part of it. So you're going to tell the best story you can tell through the assets that you have. If that's friends, if that's family, if it's the guy at the coffee shop who serves them every Tuesday, then you do that. I don't think there's any moral issue with that personally. I think that as a journalist, if that's the cap that you wear as a journalist cap, I think that is something that that's part of the obligation, is to chase the story as best as you can until the story dries up.
100%. You're 100% right. But then there's this other element of like the YouTube community and YouTubers and how they look at that. And they would be like, that's fucked up. You know, that's too intrusive. Like, I wouldn't want some journalist interviewing my family members or, you know, my significant others and neighbors and shit like that. That's just like crossing a line to them. So it's this like weird thing that I've been juggling for the last couple of days, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Well, keep us updated. I'm sure a lot of people are very interested in the idea. And I don't know, like I said, for me personally, I have a journalistic background. I have this degree and stuff. And I've been in newsrooms. I've seen it. But I don't think there's really that big of an issue, but I understand the perspective from a YouTuber perspective for sure.
I had this like dream that he would see the WingsBoogie fight and he'd be like, okay, Keem's legit. Maybe I should work with him and do some stuff. But that's not what happened. I started seeing clips where he was like banning anybody that talked about their fight. Like their fighting had nothing to do with DSP and he was banning people. So it's just, it's crazy how off his rocker he really is. And I don't know how to communicate with him. Like, I have no way to actually have a conversation with him. When he was on your show and me and him were talking back and forth, I was like, this is calm. This is settled. Like, there's no beef anymore. And then he's right back on his show where he's the king and he's in control and he's the only one in control. And he's talking shit about me again. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, I think coming out of that fight, the WingsBoogie fight, and it shows here, like, Wings obviously took a step just from a perception standpoint. It's the thing is it's his redemption arc, the Wings of Redemption arc, right? And Boogie has at least owned the idea that he got his shit kicked in, right? And I think that he, it's funny, and he's like, yeah, man, I got my ass kicked. That's fine. And Wings put out a tweet that said, like, really, I may have got beat up, but the biggest loser was DSP here because he's the one who, sat back and
you said Wings, but you meant Boogie. But
yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. I apologize. Yeah. But and then you saw, action like this where the money rolled in for Wings the other night on his stream. And like, good for him. I think that's a wonderful thing for that success. But speaking of Boogie, you had an interview with him recently, and it was just at the very tail end of the interview. And you talked a lot about mental health. You talked about your retirement. You said you're going to retire. Then you came back. You didn't want to hand off Drama Alert because you couldn't find the right person to do it. But I want to dig into this mental health thing. Do you think that it's healthy? Obviously, being a creator online is very, very hard. It's taxing. People don't really realize the amount of hours that go into editing videos and just growing a business from nothing, right? Do you feel that the mental health aspect of creating online is worth it?
I think people are so different. Like, so for a very long time, I didn't understand mental health. Like I didn't get it. I believe that like everyone's sad. Everyone's sad from time to time. Everyone's happy. That's normal. You're not depressed. Like, stop being a pussy, So it's taken me a while, and I've dealt with like so many different YouTubers who are suicidal or whatever, and I'm on the phone with them trying to walk them off the ledge. Boogie so many times, and I'm only saying that because he's publicly said it so many times. Wait, what was the question? Oh,
just about mental health as a whole, and as a content creator, being in a public spotlight. Once you reach a certain audience, you have a lot of people looking at you, expectations, and it's almost like you have become a celebrity in a very niche audience for a lot of people, and sometimes a larger audience, and there's expectations which can ultimately weigh on your mental health.
Well, there was a time where you could make a mistake and you could fuck up and whatever, you learned from that and everyone forgets it. On the internet, nobody forgets it, right? Like, I'm constantly being hit up with, you called Alex the N-word, or you did this, or you did that. Like, any mistake I've ever made. WingsBoogie have to deal with the same thing. DSP has to deal with the same thing. Anybody in the spotlight. And I can see how that would, drive somebody to have a lot of mental issues and whatnot. But it's like, at the end of the day, you have to make peace with what you signed up for. Like, you are going on stage and you're tap dancing. The audience has every right to grab tomatoes and throw them at your fucking head every single day. And, a lot of people get real selfish and they're like, woe is me, and this is not right, and this is not fair, and da da da. You signed up for it. You signed up for this. So, you know, in a lot of those scenarios, if people can't handle it, they should leave. They should leave. They should not be online. But we don't see that, do we?
No.
We see somebody struggling and then they're staying online and they're still struggling and they're staying on live and they don't leave.
What are your thoughts on cancel culture?
I hate it. I hate it. Every time I speak out about cancel culture, it would come back at me like, oh, well, you're the king. You started cancel culture because you run Drama. I run the news. You know, this is what's happening today. This is the controversy today. This is why people are mad at this person for this. But I never like really rallied behind we need to cancel someone. I mean, there's a few scenarios if it involved like, you know, someone being raped or, you know, pedos online or stuff like that, you know, then I get a little more amped up and I want action taken in some scenarios. But for the most part, I absolutely hate it. I think it's ruined everything. You know, there was a time on the internet where people just actually said what they thought at all times on Twitter. People would fight back and forth, talk shit. Content creators don't do that anymore. They don't want to lose that $50,000, $20,000 brand deal. So most content creators are walking, talking commercials. They're a fake version of themselves, completely watered down. And that goes against what entertainment is, you know. For us to have entertainment, think about everything that we know as entertainment. The Marvel movies, Disney movies, growing up as a kid, there's always a good guy, a bad guy. There's always a battle. There's always, you know, like this is fundamental parts of entertainment. And we've been so whitewashed with the cancel culture that it's actually ruined the entire entertainment business.
Do you, you know, you mentioned this briefly. You said you're in the news. I kind of want to tie this back into the last two things. Do you feel that Drama Alert or you have contributed to both, you know, people's poor mental health and or cancel culture at all?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. You know, if someone makes a mistake and we cover it, it probably gets more exposure, more views. But at the end of the day, like, you know, these are public things that have happened online and, you know, someone's got to cover it. Part of the reason why I started Drama Alert is because nobody in the news were covering YouTubers. Like TMZ wasn't covering YouTubers. None of the mainstream media was. And I was like, these guys are getting more views than people on TV. Why are they not being covered like stars? So that's part of the reason why I started it. Kind of
a TMZ style attraction, right? So I have a, you know, it's funny bringing it back to the DSP thing, kind of owning things. We talked about, I don't know if you saw Rich from Review Tech has an upcoming shirt of kind of a DSP homage. Have you seen this shirt?
I haven't seen the shirt yet. No.
Okay. Well, let me pull it up. I'll pull it up while I'm telling you more about this. And there is one idea that I had that I would love to pitch off, throw off you a little bit. Phil's I wouldn't say his fans, but a lot of people watch him. Obviously, they're called detractors. Right. And I thought it would be very interesting to start the first ever Detractor Con and allow all the detractors to come together and create a convention. And I think it's going to happen. I really do think it's going to happen. So what are your thoughts? Would you like to be a speaker at Detractor Con?
Absolutely. That sounds awesome.
Like, I think it would be fun.
You know how we could probably get DSP active and into some type of collaboration? Let's set up a video game challenge between like Rich and him where they play some game against each other. Like there's got to be some way to mobilize him. But I guess the biggest problem is like, how do you contact him? How do you actually have a conversation with him? Because the email thing doesn't work anymore. He doesn't respond to any fucking emails. Like, how do you actually have a conversation with him to set up anything? That was my problem.
Well, tonight, I'm going to send all of our audience over to DSP's channel as a peace offering. I tried it last night. and every single night I will be sending our audience to Phil's channel because he's streaming right now. So we want to send a peace offering over there because we want to open up the lines of communication. And I've made it very clear to Phil that I would love to continue the conversation with that we had, because I think that we barely scratched the surface, like barely scratched the surface when it comes to peeling back that onion. I really think that I could do another 20 hours with the guy and just really dive in. But I said, look, I will do it on your channel. I'll do it on our channel. I'll do it on whatever channel it needs to be on to continue the conversation. Because I do think that it's there. But I do agree with you. I think some sort of gaming convention or gaming competition with and just having him included would be ideal. And
something
put some
like
prize
that.
money attached to it or something. I don't know.
As soon as Wings and Boogie stepped out of their comfort zone, opportunities started coming at both of them left and right. He's got to do something different. It goes back to the level 1 bullshit. He is doing the same thing over and over again. It's like insanity to watch. Like you have to do something. I mean, these detractors that are in the chat, they know him better than I know. Other than DSP coming on to talk to Craig and side scrollers, has DSP ever done a collaboration? Like, when was the last time? Like a decade ago? Like, when has he ever worked with another actual YouTuber, had a conversation with them online, made a piece of content, played a video game with another person?
So it was 3 years ago. The interview was with the quartering, and Jeremy got roasted for it because he didn't really ask the questions that people wanted to know. He kind of went unprepared.
Interesting.
So he did that 3 years ago, and that was kind of the big thing, was that he was going to have the interview with us. But prior to that, I don't know. And I knew Phil from a decade ago when I had Screw Attack forever ago, and he was a community member there, and that's how I first got to know him. We had a convention, and he actually came out and spoke to it. So at some point, Phil was a reasonable dude. He came out to conventions and stuff, and I think he had a panel and all sorts of stuff. But obviously, things have changed. So I will try to facilitate that. I mean, like I said, he can even stay at his house. It doesn't need to be an in-person thing. We can do it all online.
I know how to get Phil out of his house. He's got to be invited to speak at a panel by a reputable like PAX or something.
Surely you know somebody over there, right?
Yeah, I do. Maybe he'll respond to this email. I just gave it away, though. I shouldn't have said that publicly.
Listen, I think that he would probably have the most packed panel at the event.
Oh, it'd be insane.
I mean,
could you imagine his team of mods that are in his channel? They're like all set up like bouncers, and they're like just pulling people out of the audience, like banning them in real life.
It's only positive content here, guys. Positive content. None, all you haters, get out. Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, so well, look, you're not gonna have you can email him, but how about this? How about he has Twitter? Make a pitch for him now. Like we'll clip this, we'll put it out there for him. Make the pitch to Phil to, it doesn't need to be for the podcast. It can be for whatever you want. It could be for a convention thing. It could be for a gaming event. Just make the pitch and see if you can speak some logic to him.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, sure. Go fire ahead.
DSP, I know you see me as your enemy, right? But really, I've just been responding. You talk shit, and then I talk shit back. You do something shitty, and then I do something shitty back. That's not what I want. I actually want to work with you. I've been wanting to work with you. Started with a podcast. Now I'm doing a documentary on you. I want to work with you. I might not do the documentary. I may do it. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now. But I want you to get outside of your comfort level like WingsNBoogie did. Wings is having like a huge success, and so is Boogie right now. That could be happening to you in your channel. Wings went live and got $1,000 in donations in the first 5 minutes. You got to step out, right? I'm not bringing up the level thing, but you do have to do something different. So I think you should do a gaming competition. Maybe go to like PAX, run a panel. You have to do some piece of content with other YouTubers outside of your comfort zone, and I will help you do that. Peace offering, Keemstar, DSP.
Excellent. We'll make sure to clip that and send it over his way for sure. So let's do a little bit of word association. I always like to do this with folks, and you say whatever you just whatever comes to mind when I bring these folks up. Okay, folks or just people or topics. IDUBBBZ.
Cuck.
Tell me more.
Well, I mean, that's what everyone calls him now, right? That's like his nickname. Do I think he's actually a cuck? No, but that's like kind of his nickname online.
Jake Paul.
What word do I associate with Jake Paul? Fake.
Do you think it's all fake with him? Is he just a big actor the entire time?
I think Jake Paul is one of the greatest promoters and entertainers of our time, and he really is. And I'm not really like into his content like that. Like I'm not like a fan, but the way he sells a fight, right? The way he can constantly get in the news cycle whenever the fuck he wants is brilliant. Jake Paul is fucking brilliant. He's a good actor.
Piker.
Oh, what a bitch. I hate him. He won't fight Sam Hyde. He won't fight Sam Hyde. Like, come on.
Totalbiscuit.
Rip.
Call of Duty.
Wings.
It's kind of where you got your start, though, right? Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Nice. Woke culture.
Blue hair.
What are your thoughts on woke culture as a whole? Seems like you I don't know, like what I don't know, fire away. What's your thoughts on just the idea of woke culture?
So I absolutely hate it, like the pronouns and all that stuff. It never makes any sense to me. But then I'll say something like very sensible. Like right now there's a big battle in the community to support trans people and to hate on trans people. And I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I could care less if you're trans or not. It doesn't bother me. But like don't try to like put that onto children, if that makes sense.
Sure.
That's where I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you know, you got some of these trans supporters like trying to get like drugs and stuff to children and these drag shows that I keep seeing. So like there's a line. But I'm not like necessarily against trans people. Like Chris from Mr. Beast, you know, he was a guy forever, and now he's trans. Could care less. You know, I don't care. But there is this one post that he made on his Instagram where he was putting girl shoes on his son, who's like 8 or something, and I'm like, whoa. Like now I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Right? Leave the fucking kids out of it. But yeah, I hate all this woke stuff. It's stupid and it's all backfiring. Guys like Sneeko, Andrew Tate, and like Leafy's back and a bunch of edgelords and whatnot. They're the kings of the internet right now because people are just fed up with this stupid shit. Elon Musk taking over Twitter, really, that was the end of the woke shit. It's dying and it's dying fast. I'm seeing it die real fast in the culture.
You mentioned kind of piggybacking on the Twitter thing. You said earlier tonight you tweeted Twitter's the best social media platform. Some people say it's dying. Why do you think it's the best?
I don't know who's saying it's dying. Twitter has always been the best social media platform, in my opinion. Even when it was super woke and they were shadow banning, it was still better than any other platform because that's where everything's happening, you know, and it's happening so fast. If you think about YouTube in the old days, everyone would upload like, I don't know, like a 7-minute video, 10-minute video, maybe. And, you know, you would get home from work or home from school or whatever, and you would watch like, I don't know, 10, maybe even 20 different YouTubers in a single day. You can't really do that now because like everyone's uploading 30-minute videos, 20-minute videos. They're trying to get that watch time in. But on Twitter, you can see a lot of stuff happening real fast. And you can, you know, follow, you know, conversations back and forth where it's just no other platform really has that. Like, think about Instagram, right? Like, you're going to look at someone's comment and like, it just doesn't work the same way as Twitter. And all the breaking news, most of the time you don't have to watch the news. If you're on Twitter for a good portion of the day, 2 or 3 hours a day, you don't actually have to watch the news, because if there's any news, it's trending. You already see it on Twitter before anyone, especially if you're following the right accounts. So I think Twitter will always be the best social media platform.
You've been, and I don't disagree. I think Twitter is shit, but it's awesome, right? Yeah. It's the worst. It's like, you know, it's the most cancerous social media platform ever, but it's amazing, you know, in the best way possible.
It's been probably the easiest way to contact someone too.
Yeah, DMs, not email, right?
Let's go back to DSP. Like, if I need to talk to anyone, I just DM them on Twitter and I'm talking to them right away. It's like so easy to get a hold of anyone. But
you've been pretty critical of like the changes that YouTube's made. You talked about how it's all algorithmically based now, and it's really hard for people to be discovered, and it's all cookie cutter shit when it comes to content on YouTube. What would you do to fix YouTube?
The recommended stuff is absolute garbage. You know, when I go onto YouTube, I'm being thrown so many different recommended videos. I'm only interested in a few of those, but it's all the topics that I'm interested in, like documentaries, history type stuff, that I'm going to click on them, and I'm not going to check who I'm sub to and see if they upload it, right? So YouTube basically has created a huge disconnect between the viewer and the content creator. It used to be back in the day, you'd sub to someone, you'd get on YouTube, you'd see the new videos, you'd watch those, subscriber, fan, directly connected to YouTuber. Then they put the whole like, you got to turn notifications on. Then they added the bell. Then you got to select always. Like they put all these barriers so YouTube can control what you, the viewer, are watching. Now they have all this, you know, brand friendly stuff, load it with ads, and you jump on YouTube and it's just thrown at you. Watch this. This is what we want you to watch. We don't want you to be connected with an individual YouTuber. We want you to watch this. So it's ruined the whole thing. It's ruined the whole community aspect of YouTube. Yeah, I mean, do you see these YouTubers complaining all the time on Twitter that like 70% of their viewers aren't even subscribed?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, it's like, nonstop.
Like, what is this? Like, remember when you used to like go to YouTube and you were like a fucking fan of someone? You were like a legitimate fan. Now it's just like, oh, I've seen one of his videos before. You're not a fan of that person like you used to be. They ruined the whole concept of what YouTube is supposed to be. And to be honest, the companies are beating the small guys. Like, I still edit my videos, right? I still record my own videos. And I think part of the reason why I never got an editor and I never did that is because I'm a YouTuber. I'm supposed to edit it myself. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. And we've really lost that. So how do you fix it? I don't know. You know, you have to be a mathematician now. You know, you have to have a certain color and you have to run all these tests and get all the data points and study the analytics. Like some of these big YouTube channels, they have a guy hired to literally study the analytics and run different types of tests on thumbnails and which is the best color. It's like, it's not fun. You know, you used to win on the platform for uploading entertaining content. You don't anymore. You're fighting against robots.
I remember when you would upload something and it would take the thumbnail automatically from the middle frame, the center of the video. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So people would put like one frame of a girl in a bikini about a video about changing tires or something. It was awesome.
Another thing that YouTube had back in the day, which was so awesome, is you could reply. You could upload a video and reply to someone else's video. So you'd have the main video, which was a controversial topic, like someone's talking about something controversial. And then you have all these replies of like opinions and counter opinions. And it was fucking awesome. They got rid of that. It's like anything that made us a community, anything that forced us to collaborate, anything that like brought us together has been taken away. So to fix YouTube, I would go back to the basics, go back to what worked in the past. But at the end of the day, they're a company. They're looking at the bottom line. They're trying to, you know, boost revenue as much as they possibly fucking can. And they think this is the best way. it is the best way in the short term, not the long term. Now we're seeing other platforms pop off like TikTok, and we got Rumble that's doing really well right now. So in the long run, I don't think YouTube will be king.
What do you think about Rumble?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I met I went to a hockey game with the CEO and just like talking about like their whole philosophy, everything over there. Cause I was worried that it was like an alt-right platform. It's not. That's
Right.
not it at all. And there's a lot of left-leaning people over there. And it's just like you can say whatever you want. Like Leafy is here, got banned on YouTube. He got a Rumble deal. He's over there. And he is saying some fucking wild shit. Like if you go to Leafy's Rumble streams and channels over there, like he has brought the year 2016 back like in a big fucking way. And yeah, they support free speech.
Speaking of Rumble, a big deal they had recently was with Louder with Crowder. Are you familiar with Louder with Crowder? What are your thoughts on him and his whole situation? He had the deal set up with Daily Wire. He leaked it all. Now he's got his deal with Rumble, and he's had his drama with his wife and his divorce and all that stuff. What are your thoughts on Louder with Crowder as a whole?
People, when they think of like the top streamers and the biggest grossers, they're like thinking about Kai, who's the #1 Twitch streamer, or Speed, who's the #1 YouTube streamer. The #1 streamer as far as making money is Louder with Crowder. That guy is making stupid money. So when there was this like little argument back and forth over like $100 million or whatever it was, right? Everyone was saying, well, he doesn't even deserve that. Do you know how much money Mug Club makes? Do you know how much money Crowder actually makes right now? Like you guys are fucking lost. Like this is the #1 grossing streamer, content creator in the fucking world. You don't know it, but I do. So he's very valuable. I think the whole thing with the wife is like, it's, everyone wants to jump on that. Like, oh, how could you talk shit to your wife? And da, 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 da. The truth is most people have arguments with their significant other and it usually gets ugly and they say fucking horrible shit that they regret later and they apologize and they make up, or they might break up or whatever. And normally those arguments that are happening there's no fucking, camera recording them. I think it's unfortunate. I think, yeah, he was wrong in what he said. But at the end of the day, I think most people have some experiences similar to that.
So who's the next Crowder? You got your ear to the ground. And you got a good sense of who's up and coming. Like who's the next Crowder? Not doesn't need to be conservative or left leaning, just creator as a whole. Who's the next sure money fire prospect coming up the line?
I think once these charges get dropped on Andrew Tate, I think he's going to do some scary, scary numbers. I think he's going to really push this thing forward. But as far as like up and coming people getting into that top spot, I have no idea. There's so many potential people that can rise to the occasion.
I'm looking in the chat real quick, and they mentioned one of DSP's biggest fans is in the chat. One of his biggest. Sorry, I just totally off topic, but I just staring at the chat. Do you have a message for Derrik, one of his biggest fans?
I do want to talk to Derrik. I do desperately want to talk to Derrik. A lot of questionable stuff that you put on social media. You don't have to talk to me, but I will. I will be talking about you no matter what. Okay.
So just look out. Look out for I guess the best question is, Derrik, do me a favor. You can email me, or you can, and I will, or whatever, and I'll make sure to get a hold of KEEM for you if you don't feel comfortable leaving your stuff. So I will facilitate that because I would love to see that conversation to see what happens. So we only got a couple more minutes. I don't want to take any more of your time than we have to, but sure. I genuinely appreciate you popping in. What I don't know, what's next? Where are you in 1 year? Where are you in 5 years? I ask everybody this. What does this look like for you? You were going to retire. You didn't retire. You're back at it. So what's next?
Well, I started off my career doing trolling in video games. And of course, there were some troll videos that existed online, but there wasn't a channel, a YouTube channel dedicated to it. So we kind of like created a new genre on the YouTube platform that I'm really proud of. But if you go back and watch those videos, then I stopped being proud because I'm saying some pretty fucked up shit. But
Canceled.
But I'm proud of like starting a whole genre here on YouTube. And then when I did the drama alert thing, that started, you know, I was the first drama channel. They call it drama channels. I was the first one to do that in our space. And now I run Happy Punch, which, you know, represents fighters. It's like when you think of like the esport orgs, right, where they have all their gamers or whatever, that's what Happy Punch kind of is for this influencer boxing scene. And that's the first of its kind. And, you know, we might strike a major deal here in the next couple of weeks. So I think I'm going to be doing influencer boxing. That's going to be my main focus for probably the next 5 years. But during that time, I'm always going to have side projects. You know, I tell every person, you know, if you're satisfied with just having a job, you're looking at life the wrong way, because yeah, of course you need a job. You need a job, but you always have to have a side hustle. Always. There's always going to be 2 or 3 other things that you are doing to bring in income, you know, to try to make it big. So you don't have to do the job, right? So you can do this thing. So that's something I preach and that I always practice. I'm always trying to do little side things, and I don't know what they are, but I know I want to do documentaries. I really, really do. You know, the WingsNBoogie thing, you know, I had limited time. I had to get that up as fast as possible. I think it came out good, but it's not a masterpiece by any means.
Did you cut that?
What's that?
Did you slice it? Did you edit it?
Oh yeah, I edited the whole thing, you know, recorded it, whatnot. I think it was all right, but I want to make movies, and I want DSP to be the goddamn star, and I want Derrik to have a cameo, and I want to get to the bottom of this goddamn thing.
I love it. That's great. I just out of curiosity, did you have any cameras following Boogie and Wings around as they were getting going and documenting any of that?
No, I had limited time. I mean, I filmed them when I was at their house, but I didn't have people following them around. No.
Yeah, that behind the scenes stuff, it's pretty valuable.
Yeah, a lot of people want like another documentary on WingsNBoogie, like since the fight and leading up to the fight. And I might do something along those lines, because there is a lot of footage like in the locker rooms and, you know, exit interviews. Like the whole idea that the fucking PKA Reddit is now Wings fans and they're like against Kyle, like that is mind blowing to me. Like there was this moment. Well, there was a lot of moments where I was really worried that one of them was going to die. All right. And it's a serious thing. I'm not exaggerating. Like
during the fight,
yeah, you know, 100%. When you're 400 fucking pounds, all right, you can have a heart attack. You know, it's not safe. And I was so fucking worried, and I haven't talked to God in a long time. But right as I was about to head over to the arena, I got down and I talked to God. I said, please don't let them die. Just don't let them fucking die. I forgot the original question. I just go on these rants, but yeah.
Well, listen, I think the fight, look, it could have gone in a lot of different directions, right? Yeah. It could have been, someone could have dropped dead. You know, Boogie could have been, I thought Boogie's jaw was going to get broken, if I'm being totally honest with you, because in his fight training videos, his hands were down, and I saw blows being thrown by Wings, which is exactly what happened. But I think ultimately it turned out to be truly best case scenario. Everyone walked out. Everyone's been lifted up. Wings is making money. Boogie's feeling great about himself. They're both feeling lifted up on the internet. They're both riding a high. I think like truly the best case scenario.
Did you hear how nervous I was on commentary? I'm like, the ref made the right call when he stopped it. I'm like, the ref made the right call. He made the right call, because Boogie's just taking them and Wings is going. I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Wings is about to kill this man.
Did you hear that? Did you watch the pre-fight interview that they did?
I don't think so. No.
So before they went out, the guy in the back was talking to WingsNBoogie, and he's like, "How's it going?" And Wings is like, "Oh man, I'm super excited. gonna beat his ass. I've lost 40 pounds. I'm doing good. And he goes to Boogie and he said, Boogie, how's training been going? He goes, well, it's been slow going. And it was like, we're like at that point, it's like we're gonna see someone die in the ring tonight. Like someone's gonna die.
I'm glad I didn't see that because I was being lied to. Boogie's telling me I'm gonna beat him and da da da, and I'm putting all this work in.
Well, it's the old Mike Tyson saying that everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face or punched in the mouth, and man, he got punched in the face.
I just rewatched the fight for the first time tonight, and I got like emotional. I was like, I fucking did this. They did this. Like, holy fuck, because it's like. That was the whole point of this whole thing. Like, it could never happen. It's so impossible. And we did it. We fucking did it. I'm so happy. And we're going to do it again. Rich and the quartering. I'm going to get the gun guys in there. If anybody wants to box, especially DSP, I will change your fucking life. Your life will be amazing. It will be good. Come box. Come box. Hit me up.
I have one other thing that I got to bring up, and this is, God damn it. Okay. What was up with the national anthem?
So Steve will do it. He's a part of Nelk, huge, massive celebrity, right? He was originally going to do it, and he started practicing, and then he realized he couldn't sing. So I'm like, fuck, I need a big name to do this, right? And so I put out a tweet saying that Steve was out and I need someone. And Gideon is just blowing up my phone. He's like, give it to me. Give it to me. I'm like, all right, you can have it. Gideon's massive too. Like he gets like 4 million views a video. I go, you can have it, but like there's no backing down. You have to do it. And dude, he had a singing coach. And like a couple days before he was getting nervous, but he promised me he wouldn't back out. And he went for it. It happened. It was a thing. It was pretty shocking to see the UK audience that was there booing somebody singing the national anthem, the American national anthem. Like it was fucking wild. I thought he ended strong though. He ended pretty strong.
Well, well, hey, I'm going to tell you this right now. If at all possible, I want to be the ring announcer. Not commentary. I want to be the ring announcer for your prelims fight in London. I would love to do that. My God, that's what. Can you
give me a sample of bringing out Review Tech USA and the quartering?
Sure, absolutely. Making his way to the ring at 350 pounds, it's Rich from Review Tech USA. In the blue corner, a svelte 6'4", 285 pounds. What's his name? Jeremy what?
Jeremy the quartering.
Okay. It's No, I hate when people do the long thing. Yeah. Jeremy from the quartering.
You got to do the long thing on like the last thing. The quartering.
The quartering.
So I'm trying to get their fight. Well, let me talk about this. So there's a scenario where Tommy Fury would be fighting KSI. All right. That is going to be a record-breaking pay-per-view. That is going to be very, very big. But Tommy Fury is banned from the United States. So it is going to happen in England. And that's the biggest fight. That's the one that I'm thinking Rich and the quartering would be on. But everyone wants those two to fight in America. So there is another card. It's sooner and it's in America. And I'm thinking about putting them on that one. But both of them want longer time for training. So it's like a juggling act. And I already have a UK ring announcer. But if it happens in America, maybe.
Listen, so you're telling me there's a chance. Look, done it before. I can do it again. I love it.
Wait, you actually ring announced before?
I was PA announcer for the NBA, one of their development league. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So it's what I do, man. It's what I did. been a while, but I could dust off the pipes for you.
Well, Rich, and if you know the quartering, it might work. It might play out.
Yeah, I would love to do it. I got dibs. Call dibs for sure.
DSP, here's another offer. All right. I will give you ringside tickets. All right. The best tickets in the house. These tickets are like $5,000 tickets. I will give them to you if you just come and witness a boxing match.
Where's this boxing match looking to be?
Don't know yet. Don't know yet.
Well, if you make it up in Seattle, could be just a little hop and a stroll, I believe. That's, I think he's
the
up in
problem is
Washington.
a lot of these regions have like really hard commissions, and they'll never sanction like the courting and rich. So you got to go to like Tampa, Florida. It's friendly. A few other places. Vegas is like kind of hard. You know, it's different rules no matter where you go and where you have the event. My dream is to have YouTubers fight in Madison Square Garden, but New York State is the hardest commission. It's like impossible. So it's probably never going to happen.
Well, a boy can dream, huh? A
Yep.
boy can dream. Well, look, man, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you spending an hour with me. I appreciate you spending an hour with everybody. Good luck with Happy Punch. I look forward to talking with you again. And I don't know, man, what do you want to say before we get out of here?
Go check out Happy Punch. We just had like a record numbers over on Twitter. Follow them or on Instagram. I'm going to be doing more prelims. I'm going to involve more people from the internet. And thanks for having me. Thanks for the support. Tell DSP that I am not his enemy. Thanks, guys.
Nobody is his enemy. Hey, appreciate you, Keem. Thanks a lot, man. All right. Hey, excellent stuff. Let's get to some super chats, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to chat with Keem tonight. You guys have been great in the chat, been keeping an eye on it as we've gone along. Genuinely appreciate you guys for sticking and hanging out. Hopefully, I got to all the questions you guys wanted to hear. And if I didn't, sorry, I did my best, and that's pretty much all I can ask. So I'm going to read off some of these real quick. KB became a member for 2 months. Thank you so much. Say, hey, Craig, did DSP ban you last night? No. Shout out to Tractor Dave, Super Crazy, Dark Days Mirror, Snort Hogan, and Hate Army. Big ups. Thank you so much, KB. Chambers, thanks so much for becoming a member. Dag Oov Balls, thank you so much for your Prime sub over on Twitch. Greatly appreciate that. Lord Rush came in with the $50 super chat. Says, keep. Oh, sorry. I should have mentioned that I was going to do the super chats at the end of the show. That's been one of the things I've heard lately is that people want to hear super chats at the end. It says, Keem, do you think the internet got less funny when Mr. Medicare left? And Craig, have you ever seen Medicare's stuff? You know, he was actually in the chat during the DSP interview. I've never actually had an opportunity to talk with him, but I would love to because I know that he is sick, and I would love to have an opportunity to discuss his career and everything. Freak came in with a $5 super chat. Says getting rich from Review Tech USA will be to be the third host. Will stick to Phil and be very entertaining. Imagine 3 shirtless big men. The Quartering's imaginary black dad donated $1.99. Says Rich winning versus the quarantine. I'll be the referee. Travis says Keem and Ethan would get big numbers for sure. Dungeon came in with the 2. Says Keem, do you regret the Etika interview? Dungeon, I think he's mentioned that several times, and I think there's actually in my research for tonight, he's done several. He's been asked about that several times, so I would have been a good thing to ask. I know he's talked about Etika quite a bit, and honestly, I don't know a whole lot the full extension of that. Oh, by the way, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, and if you guys are new, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. Mr. Calvarino came in as a brand new member to the channel. Thank you so much. Those memberships are huge. Cheesy Living with the £5 says, yo, Craig, Keem will know all about this. YouTuber Gakanura made one of the most damning videos on H3 ever made, and it mysteriously keeps vanishing. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, Cheesy Living. Hal came in with the 200 bits, says DSP is actually a modern day Andy Kaufman, going very method with a lying character, and we've all been fooled. Pretty good theory. Midnight Lobster came in with the new membership. Thank you so much, Midnight Lobster. Art Fuller with the 2 says DSP is the North Korea of YouTube. Midnight Lobster with the $9.99 says gone forever. Thank you so much, Midnight Lobster. Isaac with the $19.99 says I'm interested to see how this DSP thing unfolds. I think we all are, for sure. I know there's quite a lot of few people in the detractor community who are very anxious on about the different the interview idea that Keem had. Chris came in with a $19.99. Thank you so much, Chris. He says DSP is a gambling addict. That's who he really is. Look at his quote unquote business. It's one big gamble. WWE champions is secondary to the bigger game he's gambling on, which is his career. He's addicted to the scam. Chris Dormer, respecter, came in at the 5, says, Keem should hire private investigators to follow DSP around on his quote-unquote day off. It would be so funny to get to see a DSP getting his hair dyed and eating out. Razor came in at the 499, says DSP would be scared to go outside because he doesn't want people to take his picture in public. Like that one with him and Kat. And Cuddy came in, says DSP is off today. I did mention that, and I mentioned that we were going to send the audience there, and yes, he is off today. My fault. Trident came in with the $50 super chat. Says this is your first time for. Is this the first time you met DSP, Craig? Let me actually find this really quick. Hold on. Let's see. This may be, and I hopefully it's not Meat Spin that you sent me to. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is me on camera at the Iron Man of Gaming, Trident. Let's check this out really quick. From a long time ago. Let's see. We got a special prize for you, Vincent. SGC. We were doing a. Well, there he is. There's Phil right there. Yeah. He must have competed in the Iron Man of Gaming, which was a gaming competition we had back in the day, and we gave away those belts. Yeah, so it was a gaming competition back in the day where we had the best gamers of all consoles, all genres, and all eras. So the idea was you play games on the Xbox as well as the Nintendo or whatever the original NES. And so yeah, I guess he competed in it. I don't think that was the first time meeting him, but it was definitely early on. Thank you so much, Trident. Greatly appreciate it. Fat Backwards came in with the 10. Says his ego won't allow it, Keem and Craig. He thinks he's above both of you. Well, he is. Down Forward Punch came in with the 2. Says Anissa is the modern day Yoko Ono. Sad for iDubbbz. Anissa? Thank you. Down Forward Punch. Ohio Gun Owner came in with the 5. Says ask Keen his opinion on Ladder with Crowder. Actually, I did, and thank you so much for that. Maverick Zero came in with the 5. Says I have to say I wasn't initially a fan of Keemstar, but now I have much respect for him. Congratulations on the successful event this past weekend. Maverick Zero, I appreciate that. And Never Blowing Bubbles came in at the $1 direct donation. Marine came in with the Marine X came in at the 5. Says I'd box. I'm a prior Marine, a YouTuber, and EDC doesn't always like my hot takes. Thank you so much, Marine X. You should hit up Keem. You should do it. And Real Take Sports came in at the 2. Says Diana came over with the Rumble rant. Says such a good conversation tonight. Thank you. God bless your night. Thank you so much, Diana. And says come chat, come join in Mario Gaming tomorrow. Bubbles, yeah. Tomorrow we will actually just to roll with the fun. But a lot of people were saying you need to have Bubbles on the stream. So tomorrow I'm going to find a way to incorporate Bubbles into our stream. Today I was playing with oven mitts on, and I smacked it down. Thank you so much, Diana. Greatly appreciate that. That's right. Go Mario, go. So look, man, that was a really good hour with Keem. I really appreciate his time. I know we do these late at night. A lot of people came in and watched that. If you guys did enjoy that, please hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys popping in. I really enjoy doing these interviews. Let me ask the chat, and this will be a poll. Like just instant feedback. This is one of the beautiful things on YouTube. Did you enjoy the interview? Did you enjoy the interview? Please let me know. I'm going to put a poll up, and because I legitimately would love to do more of these regularly and talk to all sorts of folks. I think that I think there's an opportunity for something like this. Just chatting with folks on a day-to-day basis and getting to know them. And they're not always going to be Keem. They may be rich or they may be a small YouTuber, but what I want to do with this channel ultimately, and whether it's on side scrollers or here in the evening, is I want to talk to people that I think are interesting. And I think Keemstar is interesting. I think what he does is interesting. But that doesn't mean that it necessarily needs to be somebody from YouTube. It could be someone from the sports world. It could be someone from the academic world. It could be someone from any world. So if you guys do have any ideas for people that you like for me to potentially interview, once again, it doesn't need to be internet folks. It can be anybody. Put their names down in the comments, not the chat, in the comments of this stream, because that's where I will read them. I can't read the chat post post the event or post the stream is over. So please put them down in the comments. I genuinely would love to hear any suggestions that you have, because I will look through, and if they're awesome, I'll do a little research and I may book them. I think that'd be great. But thank you guys very much for popping in tonight, being a part of my life, allowing me to be a part of yours. I want you guys to have an excellent night. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you guys follow us over on Rumble. And we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. for Side Scrollers, 11 a.m. Central Time. And then I'll be back at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time as I continue my Mario Funathon. A little bit of gameplay. Right now we're playing through, actually we're starting a Mario. We're playing through all the Mario mainline Mario games. And tomorrow I'm playing a Game Boy Mario game. But I would love to see you guys. Then I'll see you guys tomorrow night for my final evening stream of the week. So, man, it's been a busy day. Been live for over 8 hours, and I got to be honest, I love it. Thank you for allowing me to get back at this, man. I've been doing this for 3 months again, and I'm genuinely very much enjoying it. So, before we go, Mirage Knights came in with the 2. Says, do you think Phil can't confess because legal backfire? I think there's a big part in that. Yes. I think there's a big part of that. I think there's something legal attached to it, but I don't know that for sure. I do not know. So, all right. You guys have an excellent night. Thank you again for allowing me to be a part of your life. You guys, remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers and support this show as best you possibly can, or become a member or whatever. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.